Welcome to Insightful Gaming. Today, we're unveiling a Warlock build that'll leave you absolutely floored. With just a primary weapon and a single grenade in hand, you'll be able to CC every non-boss enemy in your vicinity with just one hit. It's all thanks to the incredible Grapple, Shackle, and Threadling grenade, all supercharged with enhanced capabilities. And that's not all. We've also got the Mind-Spun Invocation aspect in our arsenal, which gives all our grenades a major boost. But the real MVP here is the Shackle grenade. Once you consume it, it'll trigger the Weaver's Trance buff, lasting a full 25 seconds. And when you land your final blow, get ready for an explosion that suspends nearby enemies in midair, leaving them unable to move or attack for a mind-blowing 8 seconds. Yes, you heard that right, 8 whole seconds of pure immobilization. Even those pesky champions and minibosses won't stand a chance against this build. So gear up, get ready to sling some grenades, and let's see who's left standing. Hold on to your controllers because the thrill ride is about to hit top speed as we introduce exotic weapon and armor into the mix. First on stage, the 𝗕𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗥 exotic SMG. It's like the Swiss Army knife of submachine guns. Land a final blow or a few precision hits, and this baby unleashes a burst of poison that'll have enemies rethinking their life choices. This combo works hand in glove with Mind-Spun Invocation and Weaver's Trance, as the enemies defeated by the poison also trigger suspension blasts. Speaking of gloves, let's not forget the Necrotic Grip, which allows you to poison enemies with a simple touch, like a villain from a superhero movie. These gloves also make poison foes spread the poison upon their demise, even if your melee attack wasn't the initial source. This creates an unending chain reaction of poison and suspension explosions that leaves enemy groups in absolute disarray. The rest of the build is about keeping our abilities fueled faster than a caffeine-addicted squirrel, maintaining resilience with healing and damage resistance, and summoning extra damage sources. Now let's talk about Threadlings, summoned by our second aspect, Weaver's Call, when we activate our class ability. They're like eager little assistants, attacking enemies or lying in wait for the battle to begin. Here at Insightful Gaming, we're committed to delivering content that's as valuable and engaging as it is entertaining. If you found this video helpful and insightful, give it a like to boost its visibility in the YouTube algorithm, spreading the joy to others who might also appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe for more captivating content that'll keep you coming back for more. Let's dive headfirst into our abilities and see how they blend together like a masterfully crafted cocktail. Starting with our super, we're rocking Needle Storm. Think of it as a deadly rain of woven needles. These needles embed themselves in the environment only to transform into a legion of Threadlings. Can't find any nearby targets. No problem. The Threadlings simply return to you, perching like loyal pets, ready to attack when you damage enemies with weapons or melee strikes. This ultimate is the Strand Super's crème de la crème, a fire-and-forget juggernaut that dishes out massive damage. And the best part, your tiny minions keep wreaking havoc even after the storm subsides. Next up, we're employing Shackle grenades. Throw them, watch them explode on impact, and marvel as they suspend targets and spawn additional suspending sub-projectiles. Thanks to the Mind-Spun Invocation aspect, you consume the Shackle grenade to kickstart Weaver's Trance. With this buff active, final blows trigger suspending detonations, and the 𝗕𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗥's poison explosions chain and suspend even more unfortunate targets. Talk about an insanely potent combo. Moving on, we're using the Healing Rift, a defensive ability with a surprising offensive twist. Each time you cast the Rift, you'll spawn 3 Threadlings eager to annihilate your foes. As for our movement ability, we're opting for Burst Glide, the epitome of swift and agile mobility. Lastly, we've got Arcane Needle, a melee ability that flings a woven needle, embedding it into your target and causing them to unravel. Activate your melee ability again to chain up to 2 additional attacks. This ability meshes seamlessly with the overall build, especially when coupled with 𝗕𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗥's poison explosions. Combine all these abilities and your Warlock evolves into an unstoppable force that'll leave your opponents quaking in fear. Plunging into the depths of our aspects, we have 2 extraordinary selections that morph our Warlock into a force to be reckoned with. First on the menu is Weaver's Call, conjuring 3 Threadlings when casting your Healing Rift. The second course is Mind-Spun Invocation, taking our grenades from ordinary to extraordinary. With this aspect, you can consume on your Shackle grenade and activate Weaver's Trance. While this tantalizing trance is active, final blows set CC the targets by suspending them in air, chaining suspend effects on enemies. What's more, this powerhouse of a buff sticks around for a whopping 25 seconds, making it a force to be reckoned with. Let's dissect the fragments that propel our build to new heights. Leading the pack is Thread of Generation, sliding into our second slot and replenishing grenade energy just by dishing out damage from any source. Arguably one of the best fragments in the game, Its activation is as easy as pie, simply deal damage and watch your grenade energy soar. Following closely behind is Thread of Warding, granting Woven Mail, which gives a 10-second, 60% damage resistance buff when you snag an Orb of Power. This gem of fragment pairs beautifully with our 30% damage resistance from rocking 100 resilience. Next in line is Thread of Continuity, stretching the duration of our strand effects by 50%, extending our suspense from a mere 8 seconds to a jaw-dropping 12 seconds. This enables never-ending chaining of suspend effects, indefinitely taming any champions or non-boss enemies, particularly effective against the menacing foes lurking in Lightfall. To wrap things up, we're using Thread of Mind, dishing out class ability energy when suspending targets. This top-notch fragment tops off our class energy, and our healing rip flexes its muscles as it spawns 3 threadlings, courtesy of the Weaver's Call aspect. These feisty threadlings charge enemies, exploding upon impact or circling back to orbit you until they find their next victim. Each threadling hit counts as a damage tick, and 3 ticks give you melee energy through our mods. Before we venture into the realm of mods setup, let's hit rewind and recap. Our build boasts a never-ending cascade of poisonous suspension waves, class ability, and grenade refunds on tap, healing at your fingertips, and a 60% damage resistance buff. Now let's amp up our build's battle prowess with some nifty mods. Let's plunge into the realm of armor mods, sticking to the same order as our rotation. We'll ignite the battle by casting our class ability. Once you've done that, casting your class ability slices your grenade cooldown, all thanks to the dynamic duo of bomber mods on our Warlock bond. But wait, there's more. Post-class ability casting, any kills that follow will birth an Orb of Power, courtesy of the Reaper mod. This Orb of Power is absolutely pivotal because once you snag it, you'll score 1 armor charge. We're sporting 2 charged up mods on our chest, and when we're all charged up, our weapon damage skyrockets as we have a pair of kinetic surge mods on the boots ready to go. Your kinetic weapons enjoy a damage boost while you have any armor charges, but don't forget, armor charges decay over time. Picking up the Orb of Power also heals you since we're running recuperation, a must-have for this build. Now that we've dissected the workings of armor charges and their mod buddies, let's delve into the bonus enhancements. These are the cherry on top of our Warlock sundae. On the helmet, we're employing 2 kinetic siphon mods to churn out even more orbs of power after stringing together kills with our Osteostriga and the poison explosions. They help generate orbs to meet our orb factory. Moving on, we've got ashes to assets for that delicious super energy, ensuring we get to unleash our super with increased frequency. If you're itching to use a heavy ammo finder mod, feel free to swap out one of the 2 siphon mods. Lastly, our Necrotic Grip comes equipped with 2 impact induction mods, which slash our grenade cooldown post-dealing damage with a melee attack. To top it all off, we have Focusing Strike, which will recharge your class ability like a charm. Now that we've dissected the complete build, let's dive into its execution. The ability rotations for this build are refreshingly straightforward. Commence the combat by devouring a grenade to activate your Weaver's Trance buff. Right after, lay down your Heal and Rift, which will trigger your bomber mods to regain precious grenade energy, and Prime Reaper for an Orb of Power upon your next weapon takedown. After defeating enemies, remember to collect the Orbs of Power dropped by Reaper and Kinetic Siphon. Doing this grants you a 60% damage resistance Woven Mail buff from the Thread of Warden. When your Weaver's Trance buff timer starts to run out, consume your next grenade. If you can't, try casting another Rift or use a melee attack to regain grenade and class ability energy through Impact Induction and Focusing Strike. In this setup, view your melee charges as a means to recharge your grenade and class ability, rather than simply dishing out damage. When you run out of the Weaver's Trance buff and you don't have a grenade or class ability, and you've exhausted all 3 melee ability charges, you can still unleash a standard melee to trigger Impact Induction and Focusing Strike, catapulting you back into your ability loop as speedily as possible. Although this build flaunts jaw-dropping damage and crowd control, its Achilles heel is its relatively meager healing compared to other builds. So be sure to stagger your Orb of Power collection like a masterfully timed comedy act to maximize the recuperation heal and Woven Mail buff timers. That's it for today's video. I apologize for its length, but I wanted to be as detailed as possible since this is a new season. Thank you for sticking around. Hope you found the video insightful. And please, smack that like button if you enjoy the content and subscribe for more Destiny content. Have a great rest of your week.